Welcome to Dental Success Beyond Chairside, the podcast that is dedicated to revolutionising the way dental professionals succeed beyond the dental chair. Join us for a unique blend of insightful interviews with industry experts and valuable tidbits of information to help you thrive in your dental specialist practice. In each 20-minute episode, we'll delve into a variety of topics, including HR, marketing, innovative techniques and systems, and AI, to help you transform your practice and unlock its full potential. Whether you're a dentist, specialist, or oral health therapist looking to enhance your practice, this podcast is your go-to resource for professional, personal, and profitable success. Get ready to go beyond the dental chair and discover what lies ahead in your practice journey with Dental Success Beyond Chairside. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Dental Success Beyond Chairside. Do you know what systems are and how they can help your dental practice? I'm excited to introduce our guest, Justeen Kirk, founder and CEO of ISO Matters, a boutique consultancy firm dedicated to helping small business owners build tailored systems. Thank you for coming on today, Justeen. It's great to have you here.
Thanks. I'm really excited to share this story with you.
Excellent. Justeen's background is project management and leadership roles across public and private enterprise. She developed a deep appreciation for the power of well-structured systems. Justeen, can you share your story with us and share your expertise on how streamlining processes and building systems can help dental practices excel?
My story's it's a little bit funny, actually. I never realised I was a systems person until I had an opportunity to start my own business. At that point, it was about May 21. I started it as a general consultancy doing project management business services. My first contract was to help a business set up their ISO management systems. Now, I had worked in organisations with management systems and I really enjoy the structure and the framework that good systems and processes have. But I hadn't actually set one up before. And the company and I, we worked through, the more I did it, the more I realised I'm a real systems geek. It actually made me look back on my past and I realised that every job I've ever had, I've always fixed their systems. I've always developed processes they didn't have. I've always refined them. I read a couple of books and realised that there are people that see and think in systems. I'm obviously one of those people. I've taken something that's very nerdy, but really helpful in everything we do, not just our work, but in our entire life. Systems and processes and boundaries, they're really important to people. That kind of morphed into ISO Matters, which then morphed into not just ISO systems, but systems in general that help all businesses. I have a real passion for small business. I think small business, we do it so much harder than bigger business. We've got less resources, less time, less money, and many more hats that we have to wear. I'm kind of on this crusade about how can we level the playing field for small business? How can we make it easier? How can I share the knowledge of systems and processes and all those benefits to help any small business? It doesn't matter what the field. How can we help them to do more with less? And systems is one of those ways that I can do it.
What have you identified within small businesses, Justeen, with how systems have actually worked and what's actually happened? What have you seen in small businesses? Because obviously most dental practices are small businesses.
We often find business owners, they know what they know. I'm a real believer in the saying that you don't know what you don't know. They'll set up their business and they will do everything that they know how to do. They might find that their systems or their processes are lacking or non-existent. It can show itself in inconsistency. You might have different quality, different customer satisfaction. You might have the inconsistencies along throughout the business about how your business is managed, the outcomes, your customer satisfaction, your costings, all of those things might be inconsistent. You might not be meeting all your compliance risks. Pretty much every business will have some kind of legislation that they need to comply with. And unless you are across it and actively managing it, how do you know with confidence that you're meeting all of your obligations and that you're doing everything that you need to at a minimum? And you may want to do something more than that. There's also a lot of time that gets wasted. If you don't have well-documented systems in place, you can find that things take a long time because you're having to, you're kind of recreating the wheel every time you're doing something. You lose that efficiency, you waste time, it costs money. And the other thing is a barrier in growth. You might find that you get to a certain point and you just can't break through that ceiling. Like you kind of get stuck and you're not sure why. You try lots of different things, but you're just not growing. Generally, that's because you don't have systems in place that will facilitate and support that growth. I found generally those are the kind of things that will bring a business owner to talk to me about how they can sort of, what am I doing wrong? How can I make it easier? How can I help my staff? How can we get more consistent outcomes?
And I think, sorry, Justine, to interrupt, but I feel what you've just said there is very much what happens with dentistry and dental owners, because they will work in a dental practice or they'll work for the government and then they'll work in private. They'll see what happens at that practice. And then when they open up their own practice, they sort of copy what the other practice is doing or where they've worked, because it's just like, well, that's what they know. As you said, they don't know what they don't know. And a lot of dentists are dentists and they are amazingly clinically, but they don't have that business acumen to understand what's happening. And essentially a system is standardizing everything. It's all the same for every single patient. Every single patient has the exact same thing. It's a standard operating procedure. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting that what you're saying about dentists, that could be take out dentist, put in engineer, put in lawyer, put in anybody. It's exactly the same, right? I work with businesses across every single industry, and it is exactly the same. They come in, they set up. Generally, they've been working for somebody and they've decided that they're going to go out on their own. And so what they know is what they've been exposed to, what they've learned in their journey to date. And so they apply that. But what they don't necessarily know, the other things that you need to do. For me personally, I remember I had no idea about marketing, about social media, about any of that until I started looking into it and putting some systems and some framework around who I am, how do I market, what's my voice, having all of that stuff. It provides clarity. Like systems provide clarity. It's like a blanket. You wrap yourself up in your blanket and you're safe and secure because you know what's going to happen. I think the benefits of having really good systems and processes, it's around having consistency. As a business owner, we want to have a consistent outcome. We want to know that we can do the same thing the same way every time and get the same outcome. Now, if you are doing the same thing the same way every time and getting an outcome you don't want, you obviously want to change that. But how do you change that so you don't fall back into old habits? And it's obviously about documenting and developing and training your staff or yourself in those systems that help you to do the same thing every time. It's not about not innovating and not growing and not changing it. It's about having a consistent way that you approach it. But then as time goes, you refine that. So you might find technology comes in. There might be a new widget or a new piece of software or something that can help you. Then you take your process and you refine it to bring in that efficiency and that innovation. And then you keep going and you test it and you change it. It's an ever-evolving process. So you don't just write a process and then you're done. I think really good systems will also give you efficiency. When you will write a process, you always start with what we're currently doing. So what am I doing right now? And then you document that. Through the course of documenting it and then other people doing it, you'll find where your process is not consistent. There might be duplication, or there might be redundancy, or there might be steps that are around the wrong way. You might bring a step that you do later, you might bring that up front, and that might give you a better outcome. It's about understanding how you do what you do and then refining that so that you're getting the outcomes that you want, and then you share that with everybody. Then everybody's getting that same consistent outcome. With compliance, obviously in the world of dentistry, there's a lot of compliance that you need to adhere to. If you don't have really good processes, procedures, checklists, those kind of things in place, how can you hand on heart know that you're doing everything that you need to? How do you know that things have been sterilized, for example, the correct way for the right time in the right order? How do you know that the rooms are being cleaned exactly the right way between patients? That's process, that's systems, that checklists. All of those things are what help the business owner know that things are being done. But as an employee, Imagine going into a business that had really good systems and you could come in and you knew exactly what was expected of you because everything was really clearly documented. You come in and you feel secure that you can succeed because what you need to do is there. It's not dependent on your memory. It's not dependent on an induction or an orientation that was provided to you and you're overwhelmed on that first day, that first week, and you have to remember everything. It's about having the structure to help you succeed. If each of your employees can exceed, then of course the whole business itself succeeds. And then the last thing is processes really help a business to grow. If you've got a really well-developed set of processes, procedures, policies, it's providing the overall structure that your business needs. It means that everybody that's in the business is rowing in the same direction. Everyone's pulling in the same direction. The business is moving forward. When you have a new person or when you're looking to engage a new person, you know the kind of person you want because you've got really developed systems. You've identified the skills and the traits, and you're following a recruitment process and onboarding. All of those things help find the right person, bring them in, give them the greatest chance of success. And then that means you're not wasting time, which means the business can grow. The same goes if you wanted to apply, maybe you wanted to bring in a new service line or offer a new service in your business, a new product, a new something. Again, you build the process and the systems and you can roll that out and know that there is consistency so that you will grow and develop your business in a really consistent, intentional manner, rather than just sort of think of your old cowboy movies and they've got the standoff when they're shooting from the hip, right? Like you may miss, you may win. It's not how you want your business to be run. You want to have those parameters and frameworks that will really help you to understand the things that are really important to your business.
So what I recommend for exactly what you're saying is for those consistencies, those standard procedures, everybody's getting exactly the same service, the way the phone's answered is exactly the same, the way the consult runs is exactly the same, the way the education's done is exactly the same. As you said, everybody has to learn how to do it, and it can be overwhelming when a new person comes on, a new team member. And at the moment, there is quite a big turnover with team members in practices. Having a shared drive with those procedures and everything on there that you can do, I recommend now, because I think it's a bit overwhelming because a lot of practices don't have things recorded. I just say, just get out your smartphone and just take a video of it. It's just like someone watching a YouTube of how to do it. And then there's other things like Loom where you can record your screen, or Stream, Microsoft 365. A lot of dental practices are on that. You can actually record your screen for free with Stream for 15 minutes, but I think Loom's only 5 minutes. And then there's places like Tango that actually record the processes, do screenshots to make it easier as well. Have you got any other sort of technology that to help people set up those systems that you know of, Justine?
I'm a fan of Scribe. It's similar to, I think you said Tango. It takes a screenshot whenever you click your mouse. So it shows where you've clicked your mouse. It does a screenshot and then it puts it into a format that creates a step-by-step how-to guide. I'm a real fan of that. A lot of the systems that I create for businesses are either based in Microsoft SharePoint, or if they run a Google, I might use a piece of software called Slab, which is kind of like a knowledge management. I don't like bringing in systems that cost money for no reason. If you're already running Microsoft SharePoint as part of your process, and it becomes a bit of a wiki and a knowledge hub, and you can just put all that information there. You can link everything. But I 100% agree. Processes shouldn't be scary. They shouldn't be daunting, and they shouldn't feel like they are an anchor or slowing you down. As you said, like literally just recording what you do, you have to do it. Just record it however you want to record it and then save it. If you think about systems, when you're looking to implement your systems, the idea is to think about what are the critical steps from the first touch point with your client all the way through till the very end. What are those critical steps, and where are those steps that have either more risk to the business or a compliance risk or an efficiency risk? Where are those in that process? If you start at the beginning and work all the way through, then you've got the critical flow from the start to the end. If you start with that, then that helps you to systemize the most important parts of the business, and then you can build the rest as time comes. I think for those people that haven't ever done this before and don't know where to start, the best place to start is to do some kind of gap analysis. It might be just a gap analysis that goes, these are all of our requirements. Are we meeting them? Do we have quality checks in the places where we should have a quality check? There's a bit of thought. You need to put a bit of headspace into it, so you do need some thinking time to think about where those gaps are. Once you've identified the gaps and you kind of know where you need to make changes and address things, you then want to start thinking about prioritizing. What are the ones that are really key to our sales flow, to keeping our customers happy, having return business, all of those things? Then you start to develop the documentation that supports that process. Once you've done that, you're going to engage your teams. If you're the person that does the process every time, you're going to have assumed knowledge in your processes. It's just human nature. What you need to do is you need to develop that process and then give it to a person that knows nothing about what you do.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Then get them to run through it, and they're going to tell you also, because you've assumed this and assumed that. Right. Obviously, every process that you develop needs to be developed for the lowest common denominator.
That's
so
right.
that anybody can come in and do it. And then once you've ironed all those out, then you need to run it. You need to implement it, train your staff, get them on board, tell them, and give them the authority to come back to you and say, I reckon we can do it this way. If we change this might work better. They're the biggest advocates. They are the people that do this every day. And then once that's done, then it's about measuring it, looking at it. Don't just put it in the cupboard and then forget about it. You want to review it every year. Make sure that it's still efficient. Is there a better way of doing something? You want to have a look at and talk to and engage your team about other ways of doing business, that continual improvement piece. But really, if you can develop a strong system, starting with the absolute critical bits to start with, you will have a much happier staff. They come in, they know what's expected. They know what's really important. They know what they have to do, how to do it, where to find that information. People that feel valued because you're asking for their feedback and their contribution will always go far above and beyond what is in, their standard job description when they're feeling engaged. That's the key to a good solid system will keep your people employed and keep your recruitment costs down and your business costs down.
Absolutely. And the personnel costs in a dental practice are your biggest cost in any dental practice. So having them engaged. Now, as you said, I think having the person who's doing the system create that system by using, was it called Scribe? Is that what you said? Or Tango to make it a little bit easier. But even just videoing, I remember speaking to a dental practice owner and he goes, I've told the girls so many times how to use the music. It's like, just video it so they can watch it. It can be very easy. Standard operating procedures, they can be written, they can be videoed, but as long as they're recorded to make it easier. And having everybody on board, change is difficult, but having the same for everyone in the long run, it makes for a much happier experience for the whole team and for patients and for patient success and growth. Is there anything that we've missed, Justine, that you'd like to share?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just start somewhere. Take that first step. It doesn't have to be perfect.
You're right. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's it. Thank you so much for joining us, Justine, today. Really appreciate having you here. For more information about Justine and her social media profiles, please see our show notes. Thank you so much again, Justine. Wonderful having your expertise and sharing basically what dental practices need to know. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Michelle.
See you. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast or YouTube channel. Your feedback helps us continue delivering valuable content and insights from leaders in the dental industry. In our next episode of Dental Success Beyond Chairside, we're joined by Dr. Ash Patel, owner of Peel Orthodontics. He'll share how he went from running a small part-time practice just 2 days a week to expanding into a much larger space, building a team of 17 staff and 2 associates and opening 5 days a week. It's a great conversation about growth, challenges and what it takes to scale up. Thanks for listening and we'll see you next time.